Thank you, Charles. And I think, like I was saying earlier, there's ways we can all make an impact. This is clearly one. Teachers are telling us what they need to help their students learn better and have better experiences. You all now have the ability to take that and go do it, so please do. Before I introduce our next speaker, we have a number of folks who are standing in the back, and I want to make sure that you get your Donors Choose gift card, which is at a seat, and you have a place to sit for the next session. There's plenty of seats up front, and if you have an empty seat next to you, please raise your hand. Great, thank you. So as we continue talking about building the future, I'd like to introduce our next set of speakers. So Aaron Levie is co-founder and CEO of Box, and he's going to join us to talk about the impact that he's creating in his company through a conversation with our great friend Zeev Klein, founder and chief curator of the Social Innovation Summit. So please join me in welcoming them. Thank you.
Which side do you want? I'll follow you. Okay. Good. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. So I was on social media this morning. One of you wrote this. Excited to hear my tweet crush, Aaron, speak this morning. These are what my tweets want to sound like when they grow up. It was me. No.
Okay.
Literally, somebody wrote that, so thanks. That's good fodder.
There's a hand.
Is that you? Awesome.
Good to meet you. Hello.
You get a signed tweet now as a result.
Okay. So this is super awkward. You're a tweet crush? That's cool.
Let's.
Oh, really?
That's
okay.
Actually, for many of us, for the record.
I say the things I wish I didn't say.
So let's do this. In the off chance someone doesn't know what Box is, an easy question to get us going. One minute introduction. What is Box? What do you guys do? And then we'll kind of dive into stuff.
Yeah, so we have a product that lets organizations of all sizes be able to store, manage, and share and collaborate around all of their information. So we built a product for people to be able to share their files, collaborate, in and outside of their organization, and we're used by about 66,000 companies, nearly 50 million people around the world.
Amazing, thank you. So you guys are a public company, congrats. And I guess maybe just an easy question to get us going. This is a philanthropy event, CSR event, a social impact event. In my mind, it strikes me that there may be a tension between a company looking at being profit-driven and being purpose-driven. And so how do you reconcile your interest in Wall Street versus your interest in Main Street?
Yeah, so I think it's probably, I'm probably clear to most of this audience that there doesn't have to be a significant trade-off. There's always different priorities that your organization will have. So for us this particular year, we are very focused on becoming cash flow positive. So we have a much more sustainable business model that I think everybody would want to have for their organization. But that hasn't impacted our ability to give back and be able to deliver on our ultimate mission, which is to change how people work and collaborate and share, and that extends directly into the nonprofit ecosystem. We have an initiative called Box.org where we give out our technology to small nonprofits, and we do heavily discounted services for large nonprofits. We have an internal set of efforts and initiatives that allow our employees to take part in the community and participate with nonprofits of all sizes. So if anything, as we've scaled and as we've been able to be even more sort of a part of Wall Street, we haven't had to slow down at all the kind of impact that we've been trying to drive. So I think with scale actually affords you more opportunity to hopefully have a greater impact, and I think it comes just from the leadership of the organization. We have a set of people around the table that are excited to be able to deliver our solution to people and organizations all around the world. So that's only accelerated as we've grown.
So let's build on that for a moment. We're obviously here in Silicon Valley, and I think many folks in the room look to Silicon Valley for the culture of innovation. As leaders in the Valley, talk a little bit about the ecosystem here. What are you seeing in terms of how peers of yours are driving innovation, and really what else can or should be done, either in the Valley or frankly nationally or globally?
Yeah, I think we probably all owe a lot, in the tech community, we all owe a lot of credit to folks like Mark Benioff and now, more recently, Mark Zuckerberg and what Bill Gates has done with a bunch of his initiatives. I think they've created an example and a framework and a kind of roadmap for what is possible, what you can actually do as an organization, both within your own company and what you can do beyond your company and beyond your company's platform. So Silicon Valley, it's a requirement that we remain in this bubble. So I don't know everything that's going on outside the valley.
Is it also a requirement to wear sneakers, or that's?
It can be either sneakers or socks that are cool.
Yeah.
So you're
I got half of it.
You're accomplishing your requirements, but so we've been able to benefit from what these organizations have done and shown that it's possible to actually fuse these two things together. And sometimes it's giving money for really important causes. Sometimes it's what Tim Cook did and taking a very significant stand and allowing us to begin to mix business and sort of some of the social and community elements that previously in prior generations of corporate leadership you would have separated, and you would not have sort of allowed those two things to come together. And that is probably I think one of the biggest changes in at least the American, kind of corporate, and I don't know if I would say CSR, but corporate sort of, realm of social impact is the ability for significant leaders and institutions. When you think about Walmart taking a stand against, pretty, damaging legislation, that's a pretty significant move for a company to be able to do. And that was driven because you have guys like Tim Cook that are able to sort of break through and lead the way with that. So I think we're going to see a new era of how companies participate in a lot of these public issues, and it'll be beyond financial, it'll be beyond technological and delivering their products, and actually what is the message that these companies are going to be driving, and what kind of leverage are they going to have in many of these kinds of battles that will happen, and more than ever going into the next 4 years.
So let's talk about that. Next 4 years is a good framing, a good pivot question.
I would have assumed that would have been the entire focus of the conference. Is that not the case?
I would say it's the undertone of the conference.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Said differently, we planned the conference well before.
Right. It was going to have a very different theme, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I think it's creating context. So let's talk about that. How do you think the next 4 years will differ from the last 4 years in terms of the administration's role on innovation and impact?
Yeah, so, if anybody's been paying attention to...
I think we're all paying attention.
Okay, yeah, got it, okay. What was discovered about Trump that he continuously sort of says he's going to be donating to some issue, and then nobody can ever find out that he actually do anything about it. So I think that would be, if that's not a perfect metaphor for probably how he's going to operate, I think that we have the risk of a lot of superficial, on one hand, superficial things happening on the positive side, and on the other hand, very damaging things happening on the negative side. So that's I think the risk that we face, and certainly his campaign alluded to a bunch of that. We're already seeing it now in the past week. So that's the risk, and that means that certainly every type of organization that this room represents, the bar just got that much higher for what we have to do to be able to actually both accomplish our missions, but actually now the necessity of accomplishing our missions has gone up pretty dramatically, and the work that it's now going to take is both that much more significant and that much more necessary. So broadly in innovation and impact, I think that this is a time where we have to focus on our cultures and double down on our teams and the people that we work with. We have a lot of values that we care about in terms of openness and inclusion, and how we want to interact with the community broadly, and obviously essentially everything about his campaign represented the antithesis of those values. And so we just have to hope that there's enough people that in the system. The good news about the government being slow is hopefully it's hard to destroy. So we'll see if some of the things that we've been complaining about for so long are actually now a benefit to us in the next 4 years. But it's super scary, and And so we're hopeful that we can find productive ways to work on the issues that we care about, that we know are going to drive innovation in the future, that we know are going to drive our ability to bring the right people together to build our organizations. But again, I think that it's we all have so much more work to do now because of this decision.
If Ivanka or Jared were watching, and maybe they will be when we're done, what advice would you have for them to share with the president-elect?
So there's a whole bunch of things. First of all, does anybody have any parents that tweet? So maybe just raise your hand. Okay, really not that many people. Okay, I see. I'm in such a bubble. So literally, my mom and dad have occasionally tweeted, and like within 4 minutes of them tweeting, I have to call them and be like, "That's not what you put on the internet. Like you don't tweet your social security number, like and you don't tweet like baby pictures about me." So what I don't understand about their family dynamic is, how is it possible that with as many children as he has and sort of distant relatives, nobody is just like, get off of Twitter and stop doing that? Like what? It's an incredible dynamic that like if anybody has a parent on social media, you know that it's such a dangerous thing, and they let it persist. So I don't understand that family. I sort of you'd want to believe, just maybe generationally or whatever, that like they are normal children, but they're clearly not if they're letting this happen. So so first of all is he's got to get off Twitter, and he needs. This is the rare case where I think social media has actually been a super negative, because it's destroying discourse. It's destroying. It's just way too powerful of a platform for this person. But there's a whole bunch of things. So first of all, the thing that I think he needs to do immediately is communicate and clarify which things he actually believes from the campaign and which things he's going to implement as president, related to many of the sort of social issues that we're dealing with. When it finally became obvious that he was going to become president, it was very clear, at least within an organization like ours, that this could be a very difficult time, because the amount of things that he kind of railed against that are really important policies and values for us was significant. And so I think he needs to get out in front right now and explain to America which things he's actually going to pursue, and which things were just rhetoric to get elected, and we will be happy for all of those lies, and that would be the absolute best outcome at this point. So that'd be the first thing. And then there's a bunch of things that I think are completely nonpartisan issues that we would have told Hillary, just in the same way. I think that our government is way too slow to innovate. I think we have a lot of inefficiency in the system that is not necessarily related to spend per se, but where that spend goes. Things like technology, and if anybody's worked in a large government agency, you're just sort of slowed down by the apparatus, and it's very hard to get work done. And so there's a lot of stuff around modernizing how our government functions. There's a lot of stuff that is going to be required to modernize regulations. So if you think about how life sciences and transportation and banking is all going to change, healthcare, how it's all going to change over the next couple of decades, we need to make sure that we aren't actually curtailing or slowing down our ability to innovate as a country, and all of these industries to be able to innovate. And so we need modern thinking at the individual agency level about how we're going to think about regulation. There's a bunch of issues that are very specific to the tech industry, like encryption, privacy, that we think could dramatically slow down our ability to stay a leader in the world economy from a technology standpoint. So we care about that stuff: immigration, education, and so there's a whole bunch of things that again have existed for quite some time, that still need a lot of attention. Obama was making incredible strides at working on a lot of these issues. It just turns out that when Congress is blocking every single thing that you do, and it's not a very productive environment, it's hard to get everything done that you want. And so maybe if the new administration is able to get behind some of these things, maybe then we could have a little bit more productive progress on those issues.
Awesome.
I'm not political in any way.
I have a format that I like called our lightning round, and so with everyone's blessing, we're going to do this. I'm going to start a sentence, you're going to fill in the blank, we're going to do it really quick.
Okay.
Can I get a soft drum roll?
And then can we talk about cloud computing?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, great.
All right,
Okay.
drum roll, ready?
Okay.
My parents, boom.
Shouldn't use Twitter.
Great. Failure can.
Lead to you learning a whole bunch of shit and doing better next time.
The Democrats must.
The Democrats must. What? Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Take back Congress. I think the DNC's decision right now about its future is going to be very, very important, and so they must figure out a way to find a next generation of leadership that actually allows the message to be carried by people that can win the election.
Mission is.
Mission is. I think it's the North Star and the thing that gets you out of the bed every morning that allows you to work through all of the sort of crap that you're going to run into that's going to slow you down, that's going to create friction, that's going to be your roadblock. I think you have to have an ultimate mission that is far enough out you weren't just referring to San Francisco, right? I was like, I don't know, tacos and
By the way, I learned a new term, Carl the Fog.
Yes.
Just learned that.
Wow.
New Yorkers. I know.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Like a thing now. You guys are amazing.
So you have to have something that propels you and allows you to break through all of the, you're going to deal with people quitting on you, and you're going to have to fire people, and you're not going to have people give you money, and you're going to lose customers. And so if you don't have a mission that you are insanely passionate about, it's hard to kind of push through with all of the things that you have to deal with as an organization.
3 more fast ones. Culture sometimes.
Requires you to be heavily involved in driving and curating and maintaining. Culture is the thing that will, companies sort of rot from the core, and culture is the thing that sustains your ability to stay innovative and drive your mission. And the second you sort of let up on your culture by letting the wrong people in or keeping the wrong people, it becomes a very dangerous practice.
Silicon Valley needs.
To understand that we can't just be 100% about disruption. We do have to be thoughtful about all of the impact and downstream implications of what's happening because of our technology. And I think that was a big wake-up call. And if there is one sort of positive silver lining of this election, these were like fast responses, right? Good. So if there's one positive downstream implication, it's that there has been a massive wake-up call that we can't not pay attention to communities that are being impacted by technological disruption, whether that's in manufacturing, whether that's in transportation. These are the next couple of decades are going to be very, very a very difficult time for some kind of key parts of the economy, and we have to be thoughtful about public and private partnership to be able to actually make it into this new economy successfully and smoothly for as many people.
And the last one in the lightning round, if I could.
If I could, that's. Can you give me like an example end of the sentence? Okay. Does anybody want to? If I could, go back 2 weeks, I'd be calling Wisconsin and Michigan a lot more. So.
We'll take it. So a last question. For many of us, I think we look up to you as a leader, certainly in the Valley and beyond. For the 14-year-old Native American girl who spoke here on stage and looks up to you and says, I'm going to be a future entrepreneur, I'm going to be a future leader, what advice do you have for her?
I think that for me, it's always been about, I start first with just tinkering with problems. And, when we started Box, it was the 15th thing that we had done. With my friends and different folks that I'd started companies with. And so, you have to be just constantly tinkering with the system and trying different solutions to different problems and recognizing that when one thing fails, you have to just get back up and try something different because ultimately, entrepreneurship more than almost anything is an energy, and it's just an energy to go, fix things, improve things, and try and fix what will always be a semi-broken system, and so you have to be able to keep pushing yourself to keep tinkering, and then one day, one of those things that you're tinkering with will actually work, and you'll have the ability to hopefully compound that thing and continue to invest in it and continue to have it sort of accelerate. And that's where your passion will then, I think, really come through in a lot of cases. We weren't passionate about file sharing. I mean, there's like probably 4 people in the world passionate about file sharing. We were tinkering with problems, and we discovered that that it was far too hard to get work done, and we found the reason for that. And then what we were passionate about is just making it so much easier to work and collaborate and share. And so sometimes you think you have to be passionate about the specific thing. You have to be passionate about a mission, and the specific thing it'll often change, and it'll often manifest in different ways. And so being able to understand and sustain that you'll have a lot of failures, and that you have to keep on trying because it's you often don't know the ultimate solution that's necessary when you get started, and being able to have that long-term mission that will keep pushing you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Aaron Levie.
Okay,
Thank you so much. It was amazing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.